After our adventure, you guys were knee-deep in some stew offered by these wonderfully pleasant farm owners. They had offered this broiling beef stew, incredibly rich for you and your party, a kind of gift to travelers. You guys had ingested that stew without a question, with a word of thanks, in fact. Some hours later, you guys fell into a deep sleep, and you were awakened now. Manacled, you see behind your back. In front of you, you see your backpacks and belongings thrown about. You see several dozen men and women with candles, some carrying a bow and quiver and arrows, rooting through your belongings. You see that lovely lady, Lysandra, that half-elf Lysandra, kind of ordering everyone about. But first we have to introduce one of our newest esteemed players. Chris, why don't you introduce your character for us?
Yeah, so my name is Phina. I'm a elven war mage. I typically walk around wearing some studded leather armor, and I have a staff, a crystal at one end that I use as an arcane focus when I cast spells. Most of my spells are fire-based, so that's probably what you've been seeing me use in the meantime. I typically, even though I have a fancy-looking staff when I'm out in public, I kind of downplay that I know magic just because it's rare and leads me into a bit of trouble, but it does come out in combat.
Very nice. And could you describe, as you wake up from being manacled behind your back, what do you do?
Yeah, I kind of look around groggily as I shift and slowly realize that I've been manacled and I kind of take in the situation. And I look around at these people holding candles and I say, oh, what is the meaning of this?
Okay, those words slowly begin to emanate from you, but you sense that, as they leave your lips, you seem that kind of drunken feeling wash over your head. You have a slight minor headache. Alright, you guys take it from here. Everyone else from the party, you are slowly waking up as well. You begin to hear these words from your companion, Phina, and you guys wake up. You see before you your lovely host, Lysandra. You take in the sight of a candle, kind of a musty wax scent is being emanated. You're kind of in the mud right now, in the wet mud, middle of the night, 5 a.m. It's 4 a.m. Candles about, your belongings strewn out into the mud. They are picking through them right now, taking anything that they want. It is safe to say that you are disarmed. Your weapons have been taken from you. Your coin purse is nowhere to be found.
Jaya comes to, but just sits there. Like she doesn't see any point in saying anything right now.
Zynthra whispers to the group, I'm beginning to think that she's not very nice. I thought she was, but I don't know now.
I demand that you release us at once.
Who was that? Who said that?
That was Phina.
Okay. So, you see Lysandra, the kind of young half-elf, purple-eyed ringleader, kind of step up. She was pointing to a few belongings in the distance, pointing to a few of them, directing some of her colleagues to loot around them. But hearing your words, she begins to walk towards you, kind of strutting as she does, with a confidence that you hadn't seen before. She's no longer, hunched back. She's no longer drooped and slumped, but she's more rigid. You can now see that she is quite more muscular and more stronger than you once thought of her. can see that her muscles are taut, and she's been, you know, more weathered and more seasoned than you thought before. I mean, you'd always thought that she was a farmer. You always thought that she was a hard worker, but now you can see that there's a harder edge to her. And as she comes up to Phina, she says, "Look who it is. The wood elf has started to wake up. Now, don't worry, don't worry. You won't be harmed if you don't resist. We're good people, just going out here making a living. But if you resist, we'll have to kill you. Just don't make a fuss about it. You'll get out of this alive."
Is the change in her like enough to belie like a magical illusion of some kind? Like, is she? Yeah, like, does she look significantly different from how she looked before, to the point where, because like, yeah, like, Jaya looked her up and down pretty well beforehand, so I'm trying to figure out if there's magic involved.
You did not see any magical illusions on her face now or in the past. Her appearance is not altered. She's still that pale-faced, brown-haired, purple-eyed. It's kind of a brown and kind of a black-haired high elf, or sorry, not high elf, but a half elf of some kind. You don't know her elven lineage. Although she is in leather armor now. And if you hover over her token, you'll get a good image of her.
Kiskartchi been following now that action and still playing as if he's still half asleep. He starts, "They should have never stepped in, but now they are bound and being caught."
Shut up! Please stop. I know, you bard. You have magic in you. If you continue with your voice, I will be forced to make more drastic measures. I will not allow you to make a magical spell upon me and my group.
Well, let me talk then. Well, let me talk then. You say you're just trying to make a living, and I don't of our employers will really be conducive to an easier living. If there's something that you think we can help you with, is there a situation that is pushing you to this kind of actions?
Bruce, Zoe, make sure you pack those bags right. We make sure we need to get all those belongings in there. Yeah, you, Shorty. Yeah, it doesn't matter whether you believe us or not, but you can trust me. I'm doing this for the right reasons. Isn't that right, guys? And kind of calling out to her party. And there's a chorus of laughter and chuckles. Alright, get all those belongings in there. And you get those packs in there. And make sure those weapons are stowed.
At this point, Jaya speaks up for the first time and just says, "Did we do something to incur this betrayal, or is this just something that you do anytime that you have guests?"
It's just business, Jaya. It's just business. It's not personal. Anyways, we can't have. Roderick, our esteemed mule. In fact, Roderick will be carrying you to our. Well, you don't need to know where we're going, but he'll be carrying you. In fact, we can't have you guys awake while we're carrying you over to our home.
If you only want our things, then why don't you just leave us here?
Oh, we don't just want your things. We want you as well. You and your companions. And you see Lysandra point her thin, pale finger to the rest of your unconscious companions, the rest of your party members in Discord that are not here presently. They are still asleep. We want all of you. You are our guests. Dave,
What?
bring over the axe and the club as well. and you see a kind of a burly man come over. You can hover over him to get an image. He'll pop up. You see Dave come over. He used to be the husband, or you introduced himself, or didn't introduce himself, but Lysandra pointed him out as the husband before. Yeah, this is Dave, and you see him, and he has an axe in one hand, and he has a club in the other. And he says, "Yeah, yes, Lysandra." And you can clear it. He has reverence for Lysandra. You know, the authority is with Lysandra. You know, he's recognizing her authority. And Lysandra says, "Yeah, Dave, bring out the club. We're gonna need to knock these guys out. They might resist, so bring out the axe as well."
There's no need to resort to such brutality. We will come with.
Oh, of course, of course. You just can't be awake while we do that.
Just put a bag over my head. There's no reason to club me.
Are there candles
we can't.
in the...
We
are
can't
there
risk
candles in
that.
the-
What was that, Shorty?
Are there candles in the barn?
They are outside the barn. No candles in the barn.
And by the way, so they will be also bringing my mule, right? Along?
Are you asking that to them?
Oh, to the GM.
Well, the GM doesn't know. I can't tell you that. If you don't know, the GM doesn't know. I can't tell you what their intentions are. Come on, you gotta ask them.
Oh, never mind.
Goes in.
Can I do a perception check to see if I can, get my hands out of the bindings?
So yeah, you could try, sure. So tell me, describe what you roleplay what you're doing.
All right. Zynthra sort of shuffles, in her seat and shuffles her hands around behind her back, trying to be discreet. And she feels like the bindings are a little bit loose enough that maybe she could perhaps get her hands out and see if she could secretly untie the others as well.
Okay, sounds good. Why don't you go ahead and roll me a stealth check? Go ahead. Yeah, you can make it public.
Are we tied up or are we managed?
You guys are manacled, so it's a 21. So you guys are pretty. You could do it pretty stealthily. You guys beat her passive perception, so you guys can do that. So yeah, you're manacled pretty well, and you can. It's pretty tight. I mean, these guys, the bonds, the manacles are tight. They look like they were not. They were done by someone that knows what they're doing. So if you're gonna try to break out, I mean that you would know that that's not gonna be quiet if you try to break out.
Rats.
Alright, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. And with that, Lysandra is going to bring out another pot of stew. This is the easy way. She points at the stew. This is the hard way, and she points at the club. Which one do you want? And she will direct that at Jaya. Jaya, you're the first to choose.
Pass me the food.
Okay. And so what she does is you're still manacled and you're still kind of sprawling on the ground, kind of face down on the ground right now. So one of her colleagues is going to take that stew out. She's going to take a little, he right here, the one to your south, is going to take out a kind of a bowl of stew and it's going to kind of start force feeding you. It's going to feed you like 2 or 3 bowls worth. Do you resist?
If he's not unnecessarily brutish about it, then no.
He's just feeding you like a normal person. And so he feeds you. And then he goes up to Phina. Goes up to Phina with the next bowl.
I'll drink what you offer, but please unmanacle me first. I don't want to eat it like a savage. I'm not a common orc.
That's a good one. You almost got me there. No, we're on to you. You can't trick a trickster. Now make your choice. And Lysandra kind of chuckles a little bit at your suggestion.
I will take the stew then.
Okay, she feeds you a few bowls of stew.
As she does, I kind of pull back at one point, and I'm like, "You're spilling on my shirt."
Sorry. Bring an extra bowl. We need to make sure she gets all of it. I apologize. My companions, they can be clumsy sometimes. And then after that, she goes up to Zynthra.
I think Zynthra would want to fight, but is also really scared of conflict, so I think she'll drink.
Okay. Spoonful after spoonful is placed to your lips, and down goes the stew. So you have a few bowls of stew. And then lastly, we have our esteemed member, Craccio, or how do you say it? Sorry.
Kiskartchi. It's just that the name hasn't been changed in the thing, but the name was Kiskartchi, which is draconic for acquired taste.
Ah, of course. Let me change that here.
Thank you.
Kiskartchi. So he takes that bowl up to your lips.
Yes, and Kiskartchi will open wide, will say, "You don't have it in blackberry taste?" But he would like to try to a performance, I think is what it will be. To do as if he is swallowing it without really swallowing it.
Okay. So the first spoonful is put into your mouth, and then you don't swallow it. So what happens with the second spoonful?
I have two cheeks, so I'll try to put that on the other cheek. I'm thinking maybe performance to see if I can trick them.
Okay, sure. That's fine, but that's fine. Go ahead, give me a performance check. And yeah,
Delicious.
slowly, your mouth is grows wider and wider and wider. You managed to fool them into thinking that you swallowed it when they didn't. But as your mouth, as more and more stew is in your mouth, what do you do at that point?
Well, since I'm small, I hope that they can believe, as part of the performance, that I fall asleep immediately. I'm holding it in my mouth, and I hope that at some time while they're putting me on the horse or whatever, then I will try to spit it out without them noticing. That might be another check right there.
Okay, so you try to swarm away, trying to look for an opportunity to spit it out, but you're surrounded by 4 people plus Lysandra's eyes as she's looking at you, and she says, "Whoa there, my friend! You haven't even finished your first bowl. We have a few bowls to feed you, just like your companions."
But he's so small. I'm doing a performance of being already knocked out, and apparently it was kind of a good performance.
You know, you're a funny guy, and I know. I mean, it might look like you're eating all this food, but you need to finish all of it. We can't. Are you groggy? Are you falling asleep? Gosh, what do we do now? He's asleep. Bentley, I mean, do we need to bring out the club? Gosh.
Come on, he's a 2 feet kobold, manacled, tied, and had already been force-feed, as far as they know.
So do you say that? Do you say all of this out loud?
No, of course not. I'm trying to explain my performance, so to speak. All that is part of it. It's a little guy.
I know your performance roll was good, but that doesn't like even if they were fooled, it doesn't change what they would do, and they're not going to risk.
They might risk.
No, they're not.
Him, okay?
They aren't going to risk it, my friend. It was a good try, but no, these aren't the type of people that would risk that. So you kind of feel Bentley, his husband, approaching. Who named him Bentley? Someone awesome named him Bentley. Bentley is approaching with a club.
Kiskartchi commits to the performance. He will keep playing it to sleep, even if that gets him knocked out.
Oh my goodness, you're gonna force me. You're gonna force me to do this, Kiskartchi. Why? Lysandra says. Why are you forcing me?
How can she know that Kiskartchi is not asleep? Is what I wonder.
Oh, I'm not gonna reveal that.
Okay.
But I am gonna say that Lysandra says, Bentley, take out the club. We're gonna need to make sure that he's unconscious. If he doesn't want to drink that stew, make it quick, make it painless, or try to at least. He's asleep, so that might dull some of the pain. And one of her colleagues gets out of the way.
Are those of us that have eaten the stew, are we currently asleep?
You guys are starting to feel groggy, but you guys are not asleep yet.
There's no reason for that. It's just a little thing. He's already out, can't you see that?
Oh, we can't risk that. You know that. It was either the club or the stew.
Do we get any sort of con save to resist this?
Well, because they fed you 2 or 3 portions, probably not. But I'll give you a chance. I'll give you 2 con saves. It's gonna be a long time as well. It's also the middle of the night. You guys are sleepy, but I'll give you a chance. All right.
So saving throw with disadvantage.
It's probably gonna be 2 saving throws with disadvantage, but we'll do that later. Right after Kiskartchi, the club. You can feel the club on your back of your head now as Bentley is about to swing. Do you change your mind or do you continue?
As far as Kiskartchi knows, he is doing he did a great performance, and he has to trust that they will fall for it because he has no reason not to believe it. Even with what they are saying might be just trying to call him or test him. So he's committed to the performance. It was a great performance. He thought he could have a chance. But, so, yes.
Alright, you've committed. So the club comes down on your on the back of your head. Since you're incapacitated and you cannot dodge and you're also feigning sleep, I'm going to act like you are asleep and it's going to be a critical, but I mean it's only going to be 1 damage, so 2 damage. Alright, 2 more swings, 2 more criticals, and now we are going to find out if they believe that you are unconscious. So you are going to need to... How do you act as the club, as these blows kind of bash the back of your head? What do you do?
Roll with them. I made a great performance. That's what an artist does.
Okay. So please take that damage. It's 2 plus 7 plus 3. So that is a total of 12 damage. And I want you to make me a Constitution saving throw to see if you can resist the pain from these deliberate strikes to the back of your head, the pain center. If you can...
Because it's been a while, where do I take off the hit points? Trying to remember how to use this.
Well, I think because of a
Oh right. You're. It was.
Yeah, I think you have to go to your character sheet this time around and change it. It's not letting me do the. Oh, it is.
Well,
actually. It is. Sorry.
So 21.
Yep, it should be just 12 damage. So roll me a Constitution saving throw real quick.
Okay, first I'm changing the 33 to 21, my hit points.
It is a total of 12 damage.
Exactly, 33 minus 12, 21.
There it is, 12 damage. Alright, and roll me a Constitution save if you're gonna make sure you don't cry out in pain.
Constitution. So that is so from the sorry.
The DC was 10 because you're kind of covered in mud right now, so it's hard for them to see you. So, yep, the pains are not noticed over the.
And just so you know, I'll be eyes closed. I will not be trying to peek or anything. I just keeping conscious. It's not that I'm going to see the root or anything because I'll keep my eyes closed all the time. I am knocked out and under, as far as they know, under the effects of that stew. So it's just having that option. But I won't be opening my eyes or peeking or trying to gather the root. Just so you know.
Okay. Lysandra, did I knock him out? I don't know. And Bentley kind of leans over your forearm, Kiskartchi. And I want you to roll me a performance check or a stealth check, one of the two. You can pick to try to pretend like you're not knocked unconscious right now. Lysandra, I don't know if I should continue. I mean, he's a little guy. I don't know how many more, clubbings he's got in him. Well, Bentley.
You to kill him.
So that's persuasion. Roll me performance or stealth, one of the two. Well, Bentley, you're you're an eagle-eyed ranger. You can figure this out. I don't know. Actually, it's investigation. It's not perception. He obviously sees your body. He's investigating whether or not you're unconscious or not.
Oh wow. Then can I roll also then a stealth, I guess? Because he will roll.
No.
I almost had it and then he changed.
No, come on, no. So I gave you an option. I gave you an option between two, but I made a mistake on his because it wasn't supposed to be perception. It was supposed to be investigation. So I would give anyone the opportunity to re-roll if it was the wrong roll. That's why I gave you the opportunity to re-roll when you rolled persuasion. So yeah, he's like, he's still breathing. He's still, yeah. I think he needs a couple more. All right, you can apply that damage if you click it.
I mean, if they know he's still breathing, then they'll just beat him senseless, right?
Did you say that out loud?
No, I assume Jaya was already KO'd.
Okay, well you guys are getting really groggy, but if you guys choose not to resist, or choose to resist, then you can stay awake for a little bit longer. It's not that potent. Alright,
so it was 11, right? The total damage now?
5 plus 6 plus 4.
Oh, 5 plus 6 plus 4. 5 plus 6 is 11, plus 4, 15. 15 minus 21, I'm still with 6.
Alright, try again. Performance or stealth check.
Stop it, you're killing him.
It's okay. Bentley's a professional, Lysandra says to you.
I thought Kiskartchi was a professional too.
So Bentley's looking you over. He's like, Lysandra, I think I got him good. I think he's gone. Yeah, I think, you see that? The wisping breath, the shortness. Yeah, I think he's out. Alright, I think he's out. I think we can continue over. Alright guys, let's pack it up. Bring out Roderick in the wagon. Taking these guys to the hideout. You see Roderick come out with a wagon, picking out wagon from behind their the house. It wasn't there before, but now it's coming into view. I want both of you guys to give me everyone else except Kiskartchi. Kiskartchi, you don't need to do this. You are awake. You're just pretending right now. But everyone else, Zynthra, Phina, and Jaya, I want you to give me 2 con saves at disadvantage. The DC is going to be 14.
Wait, how do I do disadvantage?
You just did it. So disadvantage would be if you hover over your roll and you hit the minus button, then that's disadvantage. So, yep, Zynthra, you fall asleep within the first half of the journey. So does Jaya. And then Phina, could you do that as well? Constitution saving throw, disadvantage.
Trying to. Foundry's just going a bit slow. Clicking it, just nothing seems to be rolling. I'm feeling we're gonna get like 8 rolls.
Okay, we'll give it a second. Alright, so I just rolled an insight roll on your character sheet. Could you try one more time on your character sheet? Or maybe... Oh, there it is. Oh. So roll disadvantage for both of them.
They actually still haven't shown up on my page, so I'm just gonna reload it.
Okay. Does everyone else see the 16? Oh wow, I see everything now.
Yeah, I can see like 5 different ones.
We'll count the first 2. So roll the first 2 at disadvantage. So you can just hit the minus button. I need to find out when you fall asleep because there's gonna be conversation that you're gonna eavesdrop on, which Kiskartchi earned the right to listen to from his brilliant performance.
He definitely earned it.
So hit the minus button for the first 2.
No, I get what you want me to do. It's just not displaying on my computer at the moment. Reloading page.
Okay, I will. Do you want me to hit it for you? Or do you want me to wait?
That would be great. No, you can do it. Thank you.
Alright, so you succeeded on the first one, you got a 16. On the second one, you got a 10, which means you fell asleep halfway, or the second half of the journey. Can everyone else confirm that?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I see.
Okay, so you guys they're packing up the wagons. You can see like a dozen of them. These ruffians, these outlaws, these merry men and women are kind of carrying their way out. And on the way, Lysandra and Bentley, the 2 ringleaders, are discussing something that was found on one of your persons. Bentley, what do you make of this note? And they pull out like a scratch of parchment, a scratch of paper. Kiskartchi, you might not know what it is, but it's, well, if you don't know what it is, you don't know what it is. It looks like to be this old piece of parchment that they're discussing, but you're not like in the driver's seat, so you can't really see what they're looking at. But you can hear it. If you decide to kind of, lift your head up and go over there, and maybe move, you could try to get a better view, but that might be risky. So let me know.
What Kiskartchi has kept his eyes closed, of course, all the time, but his ears are open, and he hears them like with the paper, and he does remember that they came here because of a map that Zynthra had found in one of the creatures defeated in a previous dungeon. So I will assume, with all the jokes attached to that word, that that's what they are looking at.
Okay. Yeah, this note. Do you think they're really with the guild? No, they can't be with the guild. They're not. They're not with the guild. Yeah. What was that? This is out of character, of course. But what was this?
Sorry. Is Zynthra asleep?
Yes. Everyone else is asleep except Phina and Kiskartchi. Both of you guys are awake enough to hear this. If they're with the guild, I mean, we fucked up if they're with the guild, Lysandra. They're not with the guild, okay? They didn't introduce themselves. They didn't have the emblem. And you know about the operation down in Dawsbury. I mean, these guys are way off of their league. They're out of their jurisdiction. This isn't... And then Bentley speaks up and he says, but what if they're... I mean, what if they're part of the operation? You know? Down in Pirates Cove? We're taking over that town. We can't be interfering with that. They could have our heads. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. They didn't have the emblem. They didn't give the password. They're not part of the guild. Okay, this is just a scrap of paper. This proves nothing. And look at all this money. Look at all this cash. This will set us up for weeks. Alright, their companions are loaded. They have hundreds of gold pieces. Well, you know what we're gonna go. We're gonna go over to the auction. They're gonna fetch a great price. And hey, they're not even gonna die. They're not gonna die. They're just gonna have to earn their freedom like everyone else. It's fair. It's fair, Bentley. Don't worry about it, alright? This is why they put me in charge. This is why you're my lieutenant. You're a good man. But trust me on this. Now, on to dinner. Now, I'm tired of this beaver that you're making. We need to shoot for some real we need to shoot for some real deer, buffalo, boar. And they go on to talk about some other mundane stuff about dinner, about food. But in the first half of their journey, they do discuss that piece of information. So Kiskartchi and Phina, you guys can make of that as you will. As they're continuing in their journey, it looks like they're sticking to a road, but there's bumps here and there. It's a bit hard for you to determine which direction you're going because your eyes are closed at this moment. Are you gonna take any action that would try to get a better look or anything like that?
Phina is going to attempt to stay asleep so that she doesn't get the club.
And Kiskartchi is just keeping his eyes closed. He keeps doing the part of the not much acting to act as if he's seriously injured, but also drugged. Just keeping the ears open. From I would think maybe the heat on my skin, or from maybe the other clues. Can I tell if it's already daytime, or is it still dark time, nighttime?
It is still nighttime, that is plain. But the exact time is hard to determine. You would have to roll me an intelligence saving throw if you want to determine the time.
I'm trying to figure out how... No, it's still nighttime. That's really what I care about. If it's been nighttime, yeah, that's all. Just that I want to know, and keeping my ears open for any other information that they may drop.
Okay. And so yeah, the second half of their journey occurs. It looks like they've swerved off the road. There's more bumping now. It's obvious that they're not on a road. Phina, you've fallen asleep, so only Kiskartchi could hear this portion of the conversation. And it starts out as as most of the company, most of this group of people have, you know, fallen asleep. Some of them are sleeping in the wagon beside you guys. Others are kind of standing guard around you, kind of looking at you every now and again, but also looking out in the landscape. They're on sentry duty. And Lysandra is talking to one of her other colleagues. This person doesn't introduce her name, so you don't know what she's called, but you can tell that she looks like a thief, so I'm just going to call her a thief. If you have a different name for her, just let me know and I can name her something different. Well, Lysandra, what are we gonna do with these fresh recruits? I mean, what if they escape? What if, you know, what if things go poorly down in the pits? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We got this figured out. You guys got the weapons, right? The weapons we took from them? And you know, this colleague responds, "Of course, yeah, I have the weapons. They're right here. You guys don't really see them, but yeah, they're right here. I got them. The rest of the crew's got them." Good, good. Listen here. Listen here. Lysandra speaks up in a quiet voice. "I want you to take these weapons. I want you to take a few lads, take a few archers, and go down to the army checkpoint. You know where. When I take them, kill a few traitors, plant the weapons on them, plant a few belongings. Make sure you do it well, and make sure they're found, okay? That'll make sure that they aren't trusted by the authorities later on. We can pin this on them, have it another way. Alright, you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, it's same thing down in, we're doing the same thing as what we did over in, gosh, what was that town? Stowensburg? No, not that town. Yeah, we're talking about Earlfolk. Yeah, down in Earlfolk, the city to the north. Don't you remember? It was 2 springs ago. We did the same thing. Well, don't worry. We're doing the same thing here. Remember, traitors and the army checkpoint. We're going to hit them both. Make sure we use those weapons and make sure they're left there to be found. They won't suspect a thing. They're brigands and they're outlaws everywhere. And adventurers, they turn to piracy all the time. Alright. Well, we'll head out in a day. Yep, head out. Day after we arrive at the hideout, you guys will head out. Make sure you hit them at night. Make sure there are no survivors. Kill everyone. You know the deal. Alright, you got it. You got it. Are we still planning on that going and hitting that lumber camp? Yeah, we are. Woburn is a good, they're a good town, but you know, the people there, they're not part of the guild. They're not. The Iron League has chosen to go in a particular direction, and the guild has chosen to go in a different direction. And our company decides to go with the winners. All right, we're winners. Right, wrong, we gotta win. We gotta stay alive. So the Iron League, they're lumberjacks. They aren't gonna make it. Call it a tragic convergence of fate. We'll do them in a week. All right, but make sure you hit that army checkpoint and those traitors a day after. And she responds, "Yeah, you got it, Lysandra. I'll do it."
I am sorry, and this is the player. He mentioned the Iron League, and what other organization she mentioned? I'm sorry. I was trying to write it down.
I'm sorry, but you don't have a notepad when you're in the wagon.
Okay, muy bien.
But I will tell you, because, you know, of course my voice could be not as clear as it could be. It's the Iron League. I mentioned the Iron League. I mentioned the Guild of Torrent. I mentioned an army checkpoint. I mentioned a particular town called
Earlfolk.
Earlfolk. Yep.
Yeah, it was this where she went about the Iron Law. The Iron League are not going to make it. But then she mentioned another group that apparently she is going to. They are trying to play with. That was the name that I was trying to write down.
Yep, the guild is what she said.
Okay, deal. Thank you.
All right, you guys are gonna get there. Now, Kiskartchi, you're pretty sleepy at this point, but you managed to stay awake the entire time.
But do I feel or hear horses, mules, or people within 5 or 10 feet of me?
Well, you can definitely tell that there is a mule pulling this wagon, this open wagon. You can see, you can hear the breath of different people around you, the soft breath of your companions that are sleeping beside you, and also the rougher breath of the people that are awake beside you, guarding you. You know, there's about, I don't know, like, there's definitely just one wagon and a few people walking beside the wagon, but besides that, you can't really tell much more.
Okay, I don't do anything.
Alright, and with that, you guys are going to arrive at your destination. And